Okay, so solutions for topic test B. Right, so the first one. Okay, so the midpoint of the line AB. So I'd write it in first, draw it in. Sorry, a bit wobbly. And there's two ways of doing this. It is the average of the points. So if I look at the x, I've got 2 plus 6 over 2. If I look at the x, and if I look at the y, I've got 3 plus 8 over 2, and that would give me 8 over 2, which is 4 for the x value, and 11 over 2, which is 5.5 for the y value. So the coordinates are 4, 5.5, and remember that you write it like that. You could also have just drawn it in and said, right, so we've gone from 2 to 6, so I've gone 4 along. I've gone from 3 to 8, so I've gone 5 up. What would be halfway that? And half of 4 is 2, and half of 5 is 2.5. And just remember to add it on to your original coordinates, which was 2 and 3. Okay. Question 2. Right, you need to look at this. Y equals mx plus c. Remember, this is my intercept on the y-axis here. So it would be that point there. And m is the gradient. And the gradient, it's always how far up you've gone for how far along. So it's the change in y over the change in x. Right, so looking at this, reading my scale properly, it intersects at 1. So I'm going to put 1 in there. And then I'm just going to pick 2 points that I definitely know. And it's going along 1 for 2 up. So my gradient is the how far up, which is 2 over 1, which I can just write as 2. So y equals 2x plus 1. Okay. Right, the next one. You need to know about parallel lines. Parallel lines have got the same gradient, the same steepness, so their gradient will be exactly the same. And then this is a sort of a sneaky point here. This 0 minus 5, well, that is actually your y-intercept, because c is always when x equals 0. So c is going to be minus 5 in this instance. So I'm going to use what I've got here. If I use that point there, I can see actually it's gone 6 along and 3 up. So if I look at this, m is, be very careful, it's always the up over the across. So it's actually a half, okay? So I've got y equals a half x, and it goes through minus 5. This point here, 0 minus 5. Right, what you need to do with all of these is first rearrange them so that they all say y equals mx plus c, so that you can see which are parallel. This one's already done. Okay, so if I do b first, 2y equals x plus 4. I only want one y, so y is a half x, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. Then, if I look at c, I've got 2x plus 2y equals 4. I want all the y's on one side first, so minus 2x plus 4. And then I only want y, so I divide through by 2, and I get minus x plus 2. Okay, dividing by 2. And then lastly, of d, I've got 2x minus y equals 4. If I take the y to the other side, and then if I take 4 off, I get y. So I can rewrite that as y equals 2x minus 4. Right, it wants to know which are parallel. So I need to look at the gradient of all of them. So I've got a half there, I've got 2 there, I've got minus 1 there. Remember, if there's nothing in front, it's a 1. Okay, and I've got 2 there. So that is A and this one was D, wasn't it? So A and D are parallel. Okay, right, draw the graph of y equals 4x plus 2 from x equals minus 1 to x equals 3. You need to do a table of values. Okay, so x and y. So you actually need to use these values 0, 1, 2, 3. Now the gradient, this 4, tells us the steepness, so it tells us it's going up in 4s, like the 4 times table. So hopefully when I've filled these in, it's going to do that as well. Right, the easiest one to start off with is when x equals 0. When x equals 0, that's actually my y-intercept, isn't it? And that's just going to be 2, because 4 times nothing is nothing, plus 2 is 2. What about when x equals 1? Well, 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. When x is 2, 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10. For 3, 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14. And then I'll try minus 1. 4 times minus 1 is minus 4, plus 2 is minus 2. And then I'm just going to check, remember what I said about I'm expecting it to go up in 4s, does it? So, does it go up in 4s? And yes, it does, plus 4 each time. Okay. Right, so, I just plot these on there. So, minus 1 was 0, 0 was 2, 1 was 6, 2 was 10, and 3 was 14. And I can see straight away that I've made a mistake on plotting that. Okay, it's on my tablet. Minus 1 was minus 2. Okay, so that's what you should do. And sorry, I haven't got a ruler, but you should get a nice straight line going through all of the points. Okay, so you need the line to get the full marks. Right, write down this equation of a straight line that is parallel to that. Well, it's anything with 4x in, but just not add 2. So you just have 4x, add nothing, which is just 4x, or plus any other number. So I could say 7, or minus 5, or whatever. Right, perpendicular. When two lines are perpendicular to each other, their gradients, if one of the gradients is a over b, the other one is going to be b over a, and the opposite sign. So they are the reciprocal and the opposite sign. So we've got y equals 4x plus 2. So m equals 4, and as a fraction, that's 4 whole ones. So if we do the reciprocal and flip it, the perpendicular is going to be 1 over 4 and negative because it's perpendicular. So they've answered it because they only asked for the gradient. So the gradient is minus a quarter. So it's really important that you know these facts. Okay, question 6. The points A, B, C line a straight line. The coordinates of A are 9, 0, B 7, 4. The coordinates of C are 1, Q. Work out Q. Don't be put off by the Q, okay, that it's algebra. Just go with what you've actually got. So if it's me, I like drawing in my triangles. If I look, I've gone from 7 to 9 across, which is 2. Not drawn to scale, yeah, because the scale's completely different. And I've gone 4 to 0, so I've gone down minus 4. Okay, so my gradient, m, equals minus 4 over 2, or minus 2 over 1. So it's going down 2 for every one along. Okay, so let's draw it in here. Right, I've gone from 1 to 7, so I've gone 6 along. Okay, if I look at this, it says for every one along, I've gone 2 down. So I need to go 2 up for 6 along. So that is 6 times 2, which is 12. So lots of people put 12 on the answer, okay, but it's 12 up from 4. So it's 4 plus 12. So that is actually, the point Q is 16. So Q equals 16. Because we were at 4, this bit here is 4, and now we're at 16 because we've gone up 12. Okay, question 7. Right, they're giving us lots of information here. Okay, so let's see what we've got. So, it's actually given us the equation of the line, so we can actually use that and say, so m equals 2, and we don't have to work it out. Okay, so AC equals 3AB. Okay, so this line is 3 times that one. So let's have a look at what this one's gone along. So it's gone along from 2 to 5, which is 3, and it's gone up from 3 to 9, which is 6. Okay, so now we need to do 3 times that. So from the same point. So I'll just do it slightly out. Okay, so it's going to be 3 lots of 3 in this direction, which is 9, and it's going to be 6 lots of 3 in this direction, which is 18. But the thing to remember is it's starting at this point 2, 3. So where will it be now? So my x started at 2 and has gone on to 9, so it's now going to be 11. And my y started at 3, it's gone up 18, so that's now going to be 21. So C is 11, 21. Okay, question 8, sorry. Right, lots of information, it's deciding what we've got. Right, A is the point with the coordinates 1, 3, and B is 4, minus 1. I like to do a drawing, so it's gone along and it's gone down. So B is 4, minus 1, and A is 1, 3. Okay, so I've gone along from 1 to 4, so I've gone 3 along in the x direction, and I've gone from 3 down to minus 1, so I've gone minus 4 in the y direction. So I can visualise that now. Right, so this is the line L, it goes straight through them. Right, is this line here perpendicular? Right, so first of all, I've got 2y equals 3x minus 4. So I need to make it y equals. So I divide everything by 2, and I get 3 over 2x, and 4 divided by 2 is just 2. So now I'm going to look at these two. So if I look at this line, the line L has gradient minus 4 over 3. Okay, so to be perpendicular, it would have to be the reciprocal, so you split it, 3 over 4, make it positive, not this one here, which is 3 over 2. So, no, it's not. Okay, so manipulation, remembering about the rules of gradients being perpendicular.